Hey, Shalom, Shalom, Akim, your brother Raza Allah from GMS London Camp. First and foremost, I want to give you praises and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakachodash, Father, honors to the apostles and elders, the great millstone, blessings to the hopeful and sincere elect, Bakoya Kodash, Baha, Ratazah, that's the holy elect, in and around in the four winds of the earth. There's some new, quick, breaking news. Sure, brothers know, but as of lately, Esau, Edom, the so-called white man, they're plotting. It tells in Revelations 12 and 12 they're going to come down upon the people with great wrath because they know that they have but a short time, and that short time is talking about them accomplishing their new world order. They're going to fast track it, and we ain't got no 20s. We ain't gonna have to wait until 2030 for these devils to basically declare martial law and do some type of new worldwide lockdown, or setting up quarantine zones and so on and so forth. As of late, man, that's happening right now as we speak, man, because there's talks and there's footage and reports of military landing in suburban neighbors in Larkspur, California, and there's other reports in different states that are, I heard about Philadelphia and so on and so forth. And brothers in America, they know more, than we over here in the UK. But there's lots of reports coming out of them seeing, these troops, setting up shop, so to speak, setting up garrisons in their neighborhoods, man. There's massive military movements being reported in multiple states, yeah. So does anyone have more info on this? Please post below. My contact that sent this video is local military and says it is not a drill. And you're damn right, it is not a drill, because this is leading up to what? The time of Jacob's trouble. Which is definitely not going to be a drill, man. It's going to be a live, orchestrated event, massacre, a great slaughtering, man, as it tells you in Ezekiel, the 21st chapter, that's the first precept that popped into my mind, man, regarding this, in Jeremiah 30 and 7, of course, the time of Jacob's trouble, which the men of the Lord, the apostles, been warning you tribes of, that was going to come, man. This is the time, man, that we're coming into, man. The time is getting cut short. The end is nigh, and it watcheth for thee, like it tells you in the book of Ezekiel, the 7th chapter. The end watcheth for thee, man, and it's here. The prophecies are not lacking, they're not slacking, and they're not tarrying, man. They're definitely not tarrying. They're popping off, man. And 2023 is definitely going to be a hell of a year. 2024, pivotal years of basically illustrating or initiating the MOT to the B system fully around the formers of the earth, and they're going to use these enforcement, martial law troops to do so, man. Start sticking new people in internment camps for re-education, to take that C-hip, that's going to be a re-education into society. So we've been warning you, man. Ezekiel 3 and 17, the Lord set up watchmen for a reason, and he said to give them warning from me, meaning him, in regards to the enemy approaching, and this is not a drill, so this is breaking news, and this is beautiful, man, because that means we're getting that much closer to the return of our Lord Yahweh Shai. This is the necessary evils that need to happen, before we can make it into the kingdom, man. But it has to happen, man. It's prophecy, and it's gonna get bloody out here, it's gonna get gory out here for you tribes. But you was warned, man. A lot of you didn't want to listen and take heed to the warning, so you're going to get caught up in it. As it said, for many that walked in pride shall be caught in basically catching hell. It tells you in 2nd Ezra 8 and 50, for they walked in great pride. They're having a lot of these pride festivals nowadays, celebrating all this lascivious behavior, lewd acts. So the Lord is going to judge a lot of these people out here, especially 2/3 that's indulging in that, and these other wicked nations that's propelling it in society, especially Esau, Edom. So this is going to be a time like never before on the earth. Daniel's the 12th chapter tells you plenty of precepts out here on this topic, man. But it's going to come to pass. This ain't no topic that we're just reading out of a book. This is manifesting right before our eyes. This is Ezekiel 21 and 9. It says, Son of man, prophesy and say, thus saith the Lord, say a sword is sharpened and also furbished. It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter. So this is the time of sore slaughtering, man. And who's going to be the main getting slaughtered out here? You tribes, man. 2/3 of Israel. It says it is furbished that it may glitter. So should we then make mirth? Because you're in the spirit of mirthdom, festivities, partying and bullshit, while your enemy is setting up shop, plotting against you to basically genocide your asses, man. And you can't even see it coming. That's why the Lord set up the men of the Lord to warn you of these times, but 2/3 are not going to take heed to the warning. The only ones that's going to be protected in these last days is the elect. It says it is sharpened to make a sore sword, it is furbished that it may glitter. It should be dead, make mirth. The answer is no. Because this is not a test, this is not a drill. It says it contemneth the rod of my son as every tree. It says, and it have been given and furbished to be furbished that it may be handled. This sword, a sword is a killing instrument. And whose blessing has the blessing of the sword right now? The so-called white man. And he's using it to his ability. And in part of that sword is these martial law troops. His armies, man. And their artillery, their weaponry. It says that it may be handled. This sword is sharpened and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer. So he saw Edom as the slayer of the Lord on the left-hand side. He used to punish, the wicked of our people, which he's going to be doing. And the Lord's going to be down with it. Because 2/3 are out of the way. They're too far gone. They're totally revolted and gone. And they need to be reprogrammed, So they're going to have to go, they didn't want to go through that reprogramming spiritually, so they're going to have to go through it physically. It says, cry and howl, Son of Man, for it shall be upon my people. Who's the Lord's people? It shall be upon all the princes of Israel. And that includes men, women, and children, man. They're going to be catching hell in these last days. If you ain't got that exemption from judgment, that spiritual dawah, that mark of exemption from judgment from the Lord, you're going to get Ezekiel 9:4 and verse 5 all in your vicinity, man. You're going to be catching untimely hell. Them death angels are going to be out there. And a lot of people are being marked for death, in particular the 2/3. And that's millions upon millions of Israelites, man, compared to the ones that's going to be delivered. It says, cry and howl, Son of Man, for it shall be upon my people, it shall be upon all the princes of Israel. Terrors by reason of the sword. That's what it's going to be, man. Terror. Jacob's trouble is terror by reason of the sword shall be upon my people. Smite their door upon thy thigh. It says, because it is a trial, Jacob's trouble. And what if the sword contemn even the rod? It says, it shall be no more, saith the Lord. Yahweh Bar Hashem Yahweh Shai. This is the trial of man. The final test that's coming upon the face of the earth to see who's the true servants of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. The hour of temptation is coming upon all the men upon the earth. Man, woman, and children. And only the elect are going to make it through. Only the elect are going to stand tall, so to speak. And they're going to be delivered, whether they put their heads in the guillotine or, they get delivered at the time of Jacob's trouble when, before the nuclear missiles come, they get beamed up into one of them chariots, the ships. So-called UFOs, man. But either way, the elect are going to be redeemed. They're going to be saved, preserved, so to speak, while everyone else is catching hell and dying grievous deaths. The Lord said he's chosen many forms of death for the 2/3, man. Famine, the sword, the dogs to tear, birds of the prey, so to speak, getting attacked by vicious animals and all that. Like the Lord, the Lord is very in particular when it comes to his people, especially in the time of judgment. So, this is not no game, man. And as I said, you've been warned. They're coming to your ghetto. They're coming to a shore near you, right as we speak, man. They're setting up shop. Why? Because they're coming into the time of Jacob's trouble. Jeremiah 30:7 says, alas, for that day is great. Yeah, it's going to be a time of great judgment, so that none is like it. Daniel's the 12th chapter tells you, man. It's going to be a time on earth like never before. So much blood-curdling cries going to be heard in the streets, especially of America, that's never been heard before, man. Where these devils are going to have to shut down the internet. So things are not going to be reported as frequent, but people are going to be catching untimely hell. It says it is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. Who's the he? The elect, the men of the Lord, the ones that stood stiffly, that was pushing the word of this gospel, man. to the ministry, to the brotherhood of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, the elect, you know, the remnant, that cluster of grapes. We're in that time, man, and the Lord's going to endow certain men with spiritual power, because you know Esau's got all kinds of artillery and weaponry out there. You got cyborgs, you know, men with exoskeletons, cyber warriors and all that. You got robot dogs. You know, he's got all kinds of weaponry out there ready to be released on people. So the Lord's going to have to combat that by giving men spiritual power, turning certain men into Superman and all that, you know, or X-Men. This is Isaiah 59:19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun, when the enemy, which is Esau Edom with his martial law troops, shall come in like a flood. That's what they're doing right now. They're flooding the streets of different states of America, man. Setting up shop, man. Garrisons and all that. Entrenching you people in. You know? That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing, man. The Roman occupation is live and kicking all over again. But that's what they did 2,000 years ago. They entrenched Israel in Jerusalem, blockaded them in, and started taking their asses out during 70 AD, 68 to 70 AD. You know, that's what they was doing. So they're doing that same thing all over again. The Roman centurions are back here again as martial law troops, man. You know, modern day centurions. Yeah, this is Rome all over again, and they're going to entrench themselves around Jerusalem, which are you tribes. And they're going to come in like a flood. It says, when the enemy shall come in like a flood, the Spirit of the Lord shall lift up a standard against them. And that's only going to be upon certain, you know, chosen men of the Israel, the Most High, the elect. The Lord's going to give them spiritual power to protect them, to basically escape death and escape the hell that's going to be unleashed over there in the Americas. You know, because the Lord said that my servants shall eat. They're going to be protected. You know, the angels are going to be residing around those men and deliver them in the time of Jacob's trouble. But not every Israelite's going to have that blessing, man, or that courtesy from the Lord, that mercy. So a lot of Israelites are going to get slaughtered out here. As I read, it's going to be a sore slaughter. See, in verse 20, it says, and the Redeemer, which is Yahweh Shai, our Lord and Savior Yahweh Shai, shall come to Zion, and unto them that turn from transgression, which is who? The elect in Jacob, saith the Lord, because that means they repented, and the Lord had mercy upon them. So not everyone's turned away from their transgressions. A lot of people are going to die in their sins, man, because they're rebellious, man, and they're revolted in God. And that's the 2/3 for you. And the Lord said, lift up no cry for them niggas, man. When they're catching hell, that's on them. You know, this is the last precept as a, you know, regarding the you know, judgment of the Lord, basically the protection of the elect. This is Isaiah 54:17. It says, no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. It says, this is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, the elect, and their righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. So those men are going to be protected, man. No weapon formed against them shall prosper, especially in the time of Jacob's trouble. Esau going to send barracks and, you know, truckloads of troops with weapons to try and take out certain men of the Lord, the great insurrection against the men of the Lord, as it tells in 2 Ezra 16. But those men are going to be protected, man. You know, they're going to have that hedge over them, especially because they got the names of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai written in their foreheads, man. That's that exemption from judgment, that spiritual dawah, that spiritual mark, man. So those men are going to be protected. And then you're going to have the women that's going to see that, and they're going to come flocking to certain men to try for that protection, man. And that's when we're going to have the upper hand. A lot of you women, you're going to get you're going to get fanned away, basically. You know, you ain't going to get protected, because there's a lot of women out here compared to men. So we're going to be very picky and choosy like you women are when shit hits the fan. You know, it's going to be beautiful. It's a beautiful time, man. Judgment is definitely at the door. So we got to keep watching and keep praying for the tender mercies of the Lord in these last days, man. But this is it, the necessary evil. Let the games begin, as they say. So all praises and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem, Yahweh Shai, B'Hashem, B'Chakodash. Shalom to the hopeful and sincere elect.
exhausted and dehydrated.